and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know that I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Only Friends podcast. As you can see, I am the leading host today because Conrad quit.
You're a pro's pro.
It's over.
You got that mic out in front of you so quick.
3 seconds to spare, baby. 3 seconds to spare. I didn't finish the tweet.
You had a half a second to spare and you did it. I don't know how you did it.
I didn't finish the tweet that I was putting out to alert the world that we are live.
That's right. I mean, you're just so used to Conrad being here every day, day in and day out, doing his job.
Yeah, and he fucking quit us.
Yeah, and he just not here.
He got sick this week.
He's sick. Landon's sick.
They're
What the hell?
sick.
Yeah.
Amazing how the show is just, winding down.
And all of a sudden, everybody's sick.
And the two people who are crying the most, like, I don't want to see the podcast end. Just find a way not to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm on a 1,000,002 downswing. I'm fucking here.
Hey, man,
no.
Everybody deals with loss differently. All right? You're a wipe off your chin and keep going kind of guy. Other people like to turtle down and,
No pun intended.
Nope.
Pun fully intended, maybe. I don't know.
Funnily enough, Turtle didn't turtle down.
I didn't know. That's right. Exactly.
He's sticking
I'm out
it
here,
through.
sticking my neck out.
That's right.
That was good. What time does Skeens throw that first pitch, Lamana?
These puns
340, I think.
are incredible. Okay. They've been bad, man.
They're so bad.
It's like watching a minor league team.
But
somehow I haven't missed a
shirt
fucking game.
I know.
Why
do we do it to ourselves?
I still realize how much I love baseball.
Yes. It's so good. Their pitching's really, their starting pitching, pretty damn good. The rest of the team, it's just awful. They can't hit. I mean, they're the worst hitting team that I've ever seen. They're worse than maybe the team that lost 100 games
you want to know
5 years ago.
Well, they actually have the worst batting average in the MLB right now. You want to know who's second worst? You want to know who's second worst?
The Nationals?
No, the team that just swept us.
Oh.
You can lose 100 games in a season?
Yeah.
Well, they can.
They
might this year.
They should have demotions like in
I agree.
British Premier League.
I agree. I think the MLB more than any other sport desperately needs this.
I think that'd be cool because it would get minor league baseball is pretty cool and you could get people really interested in it if they can get moved up.
The problem I think that you find is that all of the minor league teams are affiliated to a major league club.
Yeah.
And the major league club has deemed these people not worthy to play in the show.
That would be.
So it's kind of like, it's pretty fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, until one of them moves up into the major leagues and actually does pretty well. And then it's like, we might have been wrong about that.
It is kind of smart because it's like if they got moved down, then obviously Nutting wouldn't make money. And then he'd be forced to spend money to keep the money that he's making.
I think the way that you could do it is because you can't promote a minor league team. It's not like soccer.
Right.
The affiliation wouldn't allow it. Like if you promoted the Altoona Curve or the Indianapolis whatever they
Indians.
are. Yeah.
Or you say the Altoona Curve?
That's right, baby.
What does that even mean?
That's our AA team. They're the Curve. What do you need to know?
Who's Detroit?
It's funny. Do you know why they're the Curve?
Pittsburgh's AA team?
I don't. Pittsburgh's AA team.
Okay.
Yeah, that's their AA
I don't
team.
know. Their logo's a baseball. I assume it had something to do with the curveball.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I have no idea. Anyway.
What's Altoona?
Altoona is a city outside of Pittsburgh. 90 minutes outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah. It's it's kind of
near State College.
Near State College, yeah. Towards the middle.
But you couldn't promote these teams because then they would just replace the minor league team with the major league roster. Nothing would change, right? But what you could do is it's currently a 30 league team, right? Or is it 32?
It's 30 teams.
Okay, so 30 teams in the MLB. What you could do is make it a 28 team league. So every year, bottom two teams get dropped out.
Yeah.
And then they just get replaced. So you're never out for more than a season.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you come back in and replace the bottom two teams the year thereafter.
Right.
And punish them somehow in the draft.
Yeah.
Just
That would be so demoralizing as a fan.
Oh my god!
Like it's just like
every other year would be in the minors.
You'd be fighting at the end, like you're in like the bottom 3 or bottom 4, and you're just fighting to like because you just know that like if you're just like, oh man, now I have to wait 2 years to watch another baseball game.
It would be
good for our sanity.
So the reason why I think it's like particularly good for baseball is because they don't get like the way football works is it's a national product, so they all have shared revenue when it comes to television.
Television, right?
But in MLB, it's very unfair. Well, maybe it's fair depending on how you're looking at it. It's very free market.
Yes.
Where the biggest teams have the biggest contracts, the smallest teams have like basically they fight to get.
And
TV
there's like
time.
rev share, but it's
minimal.
It's minimal, and it doesn't. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it helps a little bit. It's better than nothing, but it doesn't move the needle, obviously.
Right. So like the Pirates. We talked about this in the past, I think, but the Pirates signed a TV deal worth $60 million in its first year, and it was performance based, so it's on a steady decline. They're expected to make like less than 50 this year. You get relegated, that deal's gone.
Right.
Like now, what are you doing?
Right.
You know, and it's like now if you're nutting, you have to fucking spend money to ensure that you don't lose your goddamn TV deal.
Exactly.
I'm all for it, man.
I think they have rev share in British Premier League and different leagues like that. EuroLeague has rev share, so you could still work it out. You just get removed from the contract if you're not in the league anymore. The difference between what you're proposing and what they do in soccer is, in soccer you root for these lower level teams because they can move up.
Yeah, it's like NCAA.
Yeah, your idea is more just straight up punishment for the worst teams.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
It's really rough, to be honest. But
Well,
it's kind of nice to see.
The way the current system works is you couldn't do it the way the Premier League does because those teams are all independent of one another.
No, that makes sense for sure.
So like the fact that it's already a tiered system kind of botches that. But
and there would have to be some sort of better rev sharing or something would have to happen because like eventually like the teams that can spend the money will, and then the teams that can't spend the money just won't, and they'll just never be able to compete.
Yeah, maybe good.
Yeah, maybe good. Yeah.
Right? Like that's the only thing that like
true.
I noticed the most about baseball is like it's this free market in almost all ways, except it like has this protection at the bottom to keep the bottom dwellers there.
Yeah.
It's a very strange setup. It's like a sport where parity is almost like not a good thing, you know, kind of frowned upon by the league. But I digress. We don't need to spend too much time on baseball. No, not this time. We have Jesse fucking Sylvia.
Yes, we do.
You know,
look at that beautiful.
Not
bastard.
every day we are graced by a WSOP final table list.
Wow. I know.
It's
beginning to be every day, which is
this is great stuff, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even in the hood, he looks good. Just can't silence this man. Though he didn't make it, congratulations to Landon, who's sick and managed to win $20,000 while sick in bed. You know, it's the strangest thing. I checked our stake chat today, and he put minus $700 for online action, and then shortly thereafter posted a screenshot of how he won $20,000. And I want to know what the fuck.
You said steak chat, and I was like, wait, you have a chat about meat, and I'm not involved? What the fuck?
Imagine.
For a split second, I was like, steak chat.
Imagine that we would ever have a grilling chat without the manager. Absolutely not. Blasphemous. So yeah, congratulations to Sniffly Boy.
Yeah, good job.
We're all proud of you. I would like to see that chat updated.
Next time, get the fucking job done, okay?
Yeah. Seriously, what happened
Second
here?
place.
He scammed Rampage. That was nice.
Yeah, he did.
Scammed him real nice. There he is.
There
Look at this, man.
Yeah.
This is what I missed on Thursday.
Element. That's what you missed on Thursday.
Unbelievable. Just right under the lemon tree. You love to see it.
You know, this is a docile tortoise. Back in the day, I have it's actually one of our vlogs.
Yeah,
I believe. Where Lamana was a little tuned up and running the grill and just really putting on a fucking show for the camera. there's a clip where he looks the camera dead smack in the lens and goes, "Turtle drives cars. I cook meat." And I think that was the day the tortoise was born.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
Good times. Man, those vlogs. We might have to bring them back. Maybe that's what we'll do instead of podcasting.
Okay. Yeah.
Imagine just
go right back to vlogging.
It's just me in the gym you on the grill.
Yep.
I think a vlog format in a group setting would actually be really intriguing.
Yeah, it's harder than you think.
No, for sure. But there's
really is.
there's like it's the same thing here, right? There's like this like friendship kind of like community aspect to it that you create that's kind of missing from a lot of vlogs. Like people can make like the lifestyle seem fun in their vlogs because they're fun people. Like Nimi's a really good example of that. Like he always kind of like showcases a cool place that he goes to in Vegas. But it still like feels unless you really show off like you and your friends hanging out all the time, it kind of like lacks that aspect.
I meant it's like really hard from the filming aspect. Like here it's easy because we turn the cameras on and we shoot the shit. When we started the Solve for Why vlog way back, well, it must have been 2016, I think. Maybe it was 2017. Might have been 2017. Either way, it was meant to be a group project. Like it was supposed to be me, Christian, Jordan, and then like our inner circle of friends as well included. And I got to tell you, we made it to like episode 2 before it was just me. And if that wasn't foreshadowing for what was to come in running this company, I don't know. Like there were signs, man. There were signs early.
There were signs.
I could have cut dead weight way sooner than I did with way less of a headache, I think. But you live and you learn.
Job easier.
Yeah. You know, it's weird because it's like that takeaway, I immediately would say, don't ever do business with your friends. But then I stare at your beautiful mug every day here on the podcast, and I think like, no, it's perfectly fine. You just have to have responsible friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big ask sometimes.
It is.
That's a big ask in the poker world in general.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember years ago, this play came to Book of Mormon came to town.
Yeah.
They did a traveling version.
I remember this.
And we were all fired up, and Ashley got tickets. And then she went online on Facebook and was like, hey, we got tickets to this play. If anyone else wants to go this night, like, you know, it'd be cool to bring a group of people. And like 12 people messaged and were like, yeah, grab me like 3 tickets.
Jeez.
She's like, hey, just FYI, I'm not buying the tickets for you and hoping that you show up. I'm just saying you can also buy the tickets and we'll all go together.
Yeah.
Smart.
And like one of our friends' wives who isn't a poker player was like, fucking poker players.
I mean, to be fair, like I get it. I'm guilty of this too. And sometimes it's against my own free will. So my friend Jeno, who has graced us with her presence a time or two, she shares a love for Boys to Men with me. But like, I think it's very different. Like for me, it's just a sense of nostalgia. Like they were part of my childhood.
Same.
And I got to play poker once with Wanye. But I don't care that much to like go to their concert, even though I had 3 opportunities in my teenage years to go. And for one reason or another, like I wasn't able to. I don't need to relive that, you know? And she texted me, I don't know, a month ago or something like that. I was like, Boys to Men's here this date in August, blah, 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 blah. Like, we're going. And I was just like, if it's a group thing, maybe, I guess.
It's like get back to me like a day before.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So like a week later, she goes, I got the tickets. And I'm just like, that was very, very preposterous to do without confirming.
It's a very Jenna thing to do. She's like, I'll just buy all the tickets and then I'll figure it out later.
Yeah. And she'll guilt me like, you know, a few days prior, but I already see how this is ending. Like the likelihood of me going to this concert's like 10%.
Yeah.
And I'd rather pay the $80 of the ticket charge and not go. I can't tell you how many times I've paid $100 or less to get out of something that I committed to.
What's that Mulaney joke where he said canceling plans last minute is better than crack? Something like that. He was like, canceling plans last minute is so much more satisfying than doing the thing.
Yeah.
Even if it's a fun thing.
Oh, man.
I think that's just a part of getting old, right?
I think it is. Yeah. Unfortunately. I mean, like, some people are like that their whole lives, but I think everybody kind of just gets like, the older you get, the less things you want to do, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, just like super enthusiastic about just getting down to the strip and going out.
I think it's generally like a single thing too, where not always, obviously, but I think when you're single, you're a lot more gung ho to go out and do stuff because you're like, okay, I can go meet someone.
I'm as single as they come. I got to tell you, I don't have the optimism of going out to meet anybody, and I don't have the energy.
Yeah, but you're jaded.
Yeah. That's
I'm not saying you shouldn't be, but
that's very fair.
But there's like these
in your 20s. I agree with you.
Right? Yeah.
In your 20s, you're just wide-eyed and hopeful, and the world is your oyster. Man.
Probably a little bit too optimistic.
Way too optimistic. Like, yes, that hot girl will be there, and no, you will not go talk to her. Let's all move on with life. How many times do we have to go through this cycle?
Yeah.
It's like she's not going to approach you, man.
Right.
It ain't happening.
But it's the hope that keeps you going, Burke. Once you lose the hope, then
I think I lost the hope pretty early.
It's not worth living for,
Yeah.
You gotta have the hope.
Do you though?
I mean, it's what drives us. It's what makes humans human.
I don't know, man.
Berkey's only got enough hope for poker optimism, and that has exhausted his hope.
Long gone, man. I don't think I'm ever gonna win again.
I think you need a slump buster, puppy.
No, that doesn't work. I've tried in the past.
All right.
I've had.
I just saw like a little mini documentary about some Chicago Cubs player who swore by it. Can't remember
what
who it was.
What is a slump buster?
We can't say that on here. It's just it's not okay.
No.
It's
sounds like you need to go out and be
she ain't
social
280,
and meet a slump buster.
If she ain't 280, she ain't my lady,
Oh my goodness.
You get the gist now, Jesse.
I got you.
I don't even know. So I played this weekend. That's why I wasn't here Thursday. Apologies, everybody. Had great sessions back to back on Friday and Saturday. Wait, was it Friday I wasn't here?
You weren't here Friday, right?
Okay, yeah. So Friday and Saturday.
Oh no, we didn't.
No, I went in late Friday. So I played Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's right.
You weren't here Thursday.
Thursday I lost, obviously, because that's what happens. Friday I started off like up 60K. I won 2. Or no, sorry. I started down 60K and I won 2. So that felt like a win. Literally got stacked my first hand sitting down. Sit down, call a raise with 10-8 suited, flop an open-ended straight flush draw, and then just get stationed by like top pair no kicker for 3 streets where I just bet jam. Shout out to the one and only Mr. JD. He just non-believer, as he should be. As he should be. So I climbed back to even that day. Next day, I get up to like an 80K head start, and I win $4,500. It's like, okay, this is fucking going great. So I go home. I had a good day. It's like, it was tiring. I played a lot, whatever, no big deal. But when push came to shove, like, I had a fine day. Then, out of nowhere, I get a text at 10 p.m. Hey, stream game just ended. Brandon Stevens is staying. So is Hanks, Ewas, myself, and Oaken. Come down. And I said, I can be there in 20 minutes if the game's not going to break. Yeah. Come down. We're playing. Everybody's buried. I'm like, oh, that sounds fucking great. So I rush down to the Venetian. I'm playing 200, 400. I sit in the big blind, and I cold 4-bet ace king off the very first hand. So it goes like JRB opens, Brandon Stevens 3-bets the button. I cold 4-bet. We go heads up. Comes king 10, 9, 2 hearts. I have ace king with the king of hearts, and the SPR is like 2. Actually, it might have been like 3. Anyway, we end up playing a big pot. I lose the queen jack of hearts, and now I'm stuck 75,000 immediately off the rip, first hand.
Jesus.
Hanks grabs a rack.
Oh no.
Starts putting his chips away.
Oh no.
Brandon goes, I'm leaving in a couple hands.
No.
And Was goes, I'm done too. And I just lose it.
I would have. Yes.
I just fucking lose it. I go, how on earth did you let me come down here knowing that these 3 were all quit? Like, who was going to replace them? What are we keeping the game going for?
There's plenty of people walking around Vegas that want to play 200, 400 on the fly.
And like the worst part is like we're playing 200, 400. JRB has like $14,000 in front of him, stuck 150, and it's like these other 3 are quitting. It's like, what the hell was I asked to come down here for? Like, you had to have known between sending me a text and me getting here 30 minutes later. Like, you had to have had a conversation with the other 3 players in the game of, do you want me to keep this game going, or are you guys all quitting? And like, clearly they were all quitting. So I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, sorry, man, I had no idea. I really thought Brandon was going to stay. It's like, why? Like, why? And it's just so clear to me when these situations happen that it's just a game runner taking a liberty because he's buried and wants to keep the game going. He's just hopeful that one of them will change their mind when I show up, and then like another one or two people that he sent a text out to will possibly come. So it's like this selfish endeavor of like, I'm stuck too much to quit, so I'm going to do everything I can to keep this shorthanded game alive, but it's going to come at the cost of people who regularly fill seats for me. And it's like, I will never fucking go. Like, I already said, I swore this game off 100 times. I said I'm never fucking going back there 100 times. I got to play the stream game once. It was their most watched stream. I played the biggest pot in their stream history. Never got an invite to the stream again. Like, just, they're doing everything possible to alienate me, and I tell Oaken to lose my number literally daily. Literally daily. The last time I played there prior to this one, I walked out, I go, Oaken, lose my fucking number. He goes, you already told me that. I go, well, tell Jared B to lose mine too. Like, I just don't want to fucking play with you guys anymore. It's unbelievably taxing. And this is like all, obviously, like, you know, if you're not downswinging, you don't really take it in stride. There's no scenario where like I wouldn't have been bothered by that, because it's like clearly taking a liberty, right? Like you're clearly just taking advantage of somebody who is like hustling to get in action. But like if you're breaking even around that time or you're upswing or whatever, you're just like, okay, I'm really annoyed, but I'm just going to stick a pin in this one, and somewhere down the line, like if this happens again, I'm going to snap. But when you're on a 1-2 downswing, it's like, I haven't won in 65 fucking days, man. I'm not coming down to a game that breaks. Jeez. You know, it's like, I can't. I'm too old for this shit. I don't need to be hustling up action. I have a game every day that I'm losing in. I don't need to come fucking frequent yours too. Christ almighty.
Who had the queen jack?
Brandon Stevens.
Okay.
Who was also just like fucking buried. And it's like,
he flopped the joint with the flush
Did he just
draw?
call?
Yeah. In some world, like, I could have probably found a way out.
Not one on a 1-2 downswing.
Well, not even that. Like, I could have just, like, you know, started by checking the flop or whatever. Like, a million things could have happened where I just don't put all the money in the middle.
I feel like if you check, it's probably river, because you're going to get a lot of, like, queen 10 type of stuff to call to, king jack.
I checked turn and river, but like, that's...
you did?
Yeah, but, like, I think, like,
Wait, so you just put in one bet?
No, he bet every stream. Well, I only put in one active bet, and then he bet the next two. But I think like in a vacuum, I could get away from my hand, because it's kind of hard to have bluffs. Like the run out was 8 deuce, hearts miss, and it's just like there aren't a lot of no pair hands here, and his one pairs don't usually turn themselves into bluffs. But I know, I've been watching the stream. I know he's buried to the fucking gills. You know, it's like, I know he's in for like 200 and has like 70 in front of him.
Wait, so you were out of position. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
so
I called 4-bet the big blind.
You bet flop, presumably pretty small, like quarter pot or something.
Yeah.
And then he called, and then you check called, turn a river.
Yeah.
I mean, ace queen, ace jack, he could have almost all of the combos, and there's like a ton of there's a ton of natural bluffs. I think.
Know, but
this board definitely smacks his like 3-bet call range.
I cry called river. Let's put it that way. And I cry called river knowing that like he's buried to the fucking gills.
Yeah.
So it's just like in a vacuum scenario, I probably just like have a river fold, but it wasn't happening, not in this spot. Yeah. And I just also think like, okay, so if I lose this hand, whatever, we move on. He's, you know, a little less buried, but still to my right, and a situation where like we're gonna play a bunch more big pots. Like, no, we're done. That's it. And he's like super apologetic. He's like, sorry, like, you know, I'll stay if you really want me to. I was like, I don't need to get like another orbit or two out of you.
Yeah,
that doesn't help me any. And I was like, it's not your fault. You didn't tell me you were gonna stay. He told me you were gonna stay. Yeah. Oh man, the inner workings of fucking private games. You guys have no idea. It's a very like, I recognize it's such a privileged position to be in, but it's also one of those scenarios where it's like, once you are in, the amount of headaches that you take on are very different than public.
The grass is always greener. We've talked about this a lot lately, but it always looks better from the outside. Everything does.
Well,
It's
yeah,
kind of crazy.
I mean, the grass is greener. Like, let's be clear. There's a lot more to be made in these private games, but
Yeah.
you also are giving up a lot of things that you just like wouldn't sacrifice in a general sense. You know, like you're just not going to put yourself at the beck and call of other people unless it's truly worth it. And what I've come to find is that when it was in Ivy's room and it was regular, I would have jumped through any fucking hoop asked of me because it was truly worth it. But now that it's more of a competitive space where it's like JRB doesn't just have a stranglehold on high stakes, it's almost never worth it. Like every time I get the call, it's the shittiest version.
Mhm.
You know, it's just like, okay, like what fucking crumbs am I getting this time?
I had a friend in high school who did this a lot where he would call you and tell you to go to the party.
Yeah.
And if he called, it wasn't a good party.
Yeah. You just knew.
Yeah, because he was an animal. Like if it was a good party,
Right.
he'd be off being an animal.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
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 He's like, I need my friends here because this party sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, come make this good.
Right.
It's really funny you say that. I feel like in a lot of aspects of life, I have a lot of those people. Not in my tight knit circle, but like floating around the outside, the like outer circle, if you will. I'm sure that'll get clipped. But like,
Can you do a little more like move?
not for that reason,
Okay.
because of the Doug thing.
That.
But like, I feel like I have a lot of acquaintances that are like in my purview that you know can text me anytime that they like and I'll answer kind of thing, that don't understand that I'm kind of sharp on this stuff, and they'll always invite me to something shitty, be it a party or a charity event or a high stakes poker game. It's just like there's a dozen people that if they send me a text and ask me to go somewhere, I know without a shadow of the doubt it's the worst place that you could be at that given moment.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, oh, thanks for the heads up. There's nowhere on earth I'd rather not be than this message that you just sent me.
Oh man.
Like, thanks, I'm gonna pass this time. It's like they never catch on that. Like every single time, it's like, oh no, sorry man, I'm busy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I gotta wash my hair and jerk off.
I got a
sorry.
Boys the Men concert to be at.
Jeno might be on that list. Shout out to Jen Fry.
That's funny. Me and Ashley were talking about boy bands this morning because
let's not be so reductive. This is Boys to fucking Men, Jesse.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
Right.
We're not talking goddamn 98 degrees.
Right.
This isn't Nick fucking Lachey.
So we were literally talking about Nick Lachey because I was saying, well, we were looking at the NSYNC album, like some song came up on the radio and you know how they like show you the album on the little computer screen. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Joey lived at Panorama Towers when we were there. So like
Joey
you just
Fatone?
you just run into him on the elevator or whatever.
Amazing.
Incredible.
And I was like, you know, if you're in a boy band, because they had that documentary come out where
Oh yeah, it was
all
so
those
good.
guys were getting
Yeah.
scammed super
Right.
hard. Like they
Yeah.
made no money. And I was like,
Right.
so what do they do after? I was like, I think your follow-up career if you're in a boy band is just be a trophy husband.
Oh,
that's,
hell yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
easiest transition for a
Hell
boy
yeah.
band
Yeah.
member. And you got to do that. And Ashley's like, well, Nick Lachey kind of did that. He was married to two very famous singers.
Right. Jessica Simpson.
Yeah,
who
and then I
else?
think his new wife is like a singer or model or something. They host
Yeah, Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Love is Blind.
She's a
again.
singer. It's
that's right.
Vanessa.
That's right.
What's her last name? It's Vanessa Lachey now, but
Hutchinson.
no. You
Oh no, she's dating the ex-pirate, right? Or married to him, maybe.
who?
I'm drawing a
What
blank.
pirates got swag?
Yeah.
They all
Drawing a
got
blank.
swag, man. They got those eye
Plays for
patches.
he plays for the Angels now.
That means nothing.
Long
to me.
curly hair.
Yeah, it means nothing to me. Brian Giles? It's Vanessa something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
There are so many Vanessas
Not
going
Hudgens, right?
through. Not Hudgens, not Carlson. There are like dozens of them going through my head right now, and it's not her. But it's also not important.
True.
It's Manillo. Vanessa J. Manillo.
Oh, I would not have gotten that one. Anyway, speaking of things that you don't want to be invited to, I guess there was a big bust in New Jersey this past week where 39? Is that right? Yeah, 39 defendants, including members and associates of the Luchese crime family.
Lucchese, yeah.
Lucchese, it's C fucking H.
Lucchese.
Okay, if you want it to be Lucchese, take out the CCH and put in a goddamn K. I'll call you Lucchese.
See, in the Italian language,
or
CC.
Or just put a C by itself in there with an A instead of an E. Then I'll get Lucchese.
All right. It's not going to be phonetically English.
Lucchese.
Yeah.
Sure. You're right, though.
This crime family.
Lucchino is CC.
Right,
yeah. Okay. So anyway, this includes basically like this is now tied into organized crime. And it's a shame Conrad's not here because he's familiar with some of the defendants. I'm sure he's even played in the game a time or two. But it looks like they came in and they busted this underground. I guess you could call it a junket. It doesn't look like it was one single location. And they said that their profits were said to exceed $3 million, which again, we kind of spoke about this with the laundering case that was brought up on the man in Florida last week, where his perceived profits were like $800K. When you break this down, like per club over the time, this isn't a lot of money.
Do we know the time frame? Because that matters.
It does,
right?
but
like you said, if it's over 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's a lot. But if it's over, 6 months, that's
yeah,
that's not nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. It looks like it was a 2-year investigation.
Okay.
And they raided 4 illegal poker clubs. So you're talking like $850K per club over 2 years. So it's like $400K a year.
But maybe that's just what they recover. Like, there could be a lot more that it's been hidden.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe not my point. I mean, if it's a 2-year investigation,
But
I would assume that they know what the rake is.
Right.
So they're probably pulling estimates based off of like what the officers have observed. By the way, just want to give Conrad another shout out. Like literally within days of one another game gets busted by undercover.
Wow.
And he's like, how could you ever let an undercover in?
Yeah. Well, that's their job.
I don't know, man. They're undercover.
That's their job.
Like, what are you, a fucking cop sniffing hound?
Imagine the guy shows up in the place. He's like, I'm an undercover cop. I like to play in this game. You know what? Come on in. Why not?
Are you a cop? You got to tell me if you're a cop.
It's entrapment if you don't.
I think it's funnier to think that he doesn't think a poker game can get infiltrated, but yet the mob at the highest levels have been infiltrated. Like, really? Like,
right.
The bar's not that high.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, I think Conrad envisions it that
He's never seen Donnie Brasco.
I truly think that when he read that Florida story, he thought that like there were these guys in middle of nowhere, Central Florida, and like a local sheriff's department where they're like, "Hey, Barney, we need you to go in."
Right. Yeah.
And it's like a town of 600. Everybody knows Barney. And it's like Barney shows up in like a suit and tie, like, I'm here for the poker game. And they're like, get the fuck out of here, Barney. We know that you work for the sheriff. That's obviously not what's happening, even if it's not happening at a federal level. But it looks like this one may, probably not. This is probably still at the state level.
Well, even if they knew you were in the police force, I bet they have cops that on their time off go and play in these games.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
They just don't know what department that they're in.
I mean, wait, you said this is state?
I assume this
Which is interesting because, like, you would think.
It says the New Jersey Attorney General.
Okay, there you go.
So, yeah, I assume this is a state matter.
Yeah.
All I know is if 37 connected guys went to prison or jail or whatever, the heads up tournament, the Borgata this year is about to get a lot tougher.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
So the real undercurrent to this, and this is more proving Conrad's point, I guess. When we were talking about the Florida situation, like that just seemed like a rogue scenario where like somebody wanted to set some precedents and do a takedown, whatever. But this, as Conrad kind of mentioned, it's like it's never about the poker, and the $3 million number, it's not very much for 2 years over 4 clubs. So like it's clearly not about the poker. Something else was going on. It seems as though, according to this article, what was happening is that they not only managed the poker rooms, but they also helped the Lucchese crime family. Lucchese. Jesus Christ, man. Cut me a break.
I want you to be able to pronounce
the Lucchese crime family was also running an online sports book. Mm-hmm. So that, I imagine, is the moneymaker.
Right.
I doubt an online sports book is only bringing in small amount of money, that's probably, if they were able to do that in any sort of like scale, really bringing in the dollars. So it looks like the charges that, those who are charged are facing racketeering charges, which alone is punishable up to 20 years. And I'm sure that there are other charges that could be levied on top of that. Mm-hmm. You know how they get the mob, man. It's never murder or violent crime. It's always tax evasion.
Yep, that's how they got Al Capone.
Yeah, they got to get you on the technicalities. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that this necessarily indicates a crackdown, but just play at the casino. You're in New Jersey, go to fucking AC, go to Sugar House in Philly, go to Parks. You're not that far.
Yeah,
you don't need to play 5-5 at the local fucking bread shop.
It's probably a better game.
What happens with the people playing during a raid? Do they just tell them to get out of there?
I've heard mixed things. I've heard everything from nothing, like a house party being broken up when you're underage, mm-hmm. to your money getting confiscated. I assume the latter is more common because I doubt if they raid a place, they give people time to cash out.
Right.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if other bodies of government are any indicator, they tend to take the money and let you try to claim it.
Really
later.
Like to seize. Yeah,
that's the MO.
Yeah, seizure is it's big business,
Yeah, they never go after the player. They always go after the operator. I mean, same thing with like
booking.
Booking, yeah, right. They're not going to go after people making the bets. It's people taking them.
It's kind of funny, man. It really is kind of funny. Like, I think when I was younger, I would have read something like this and be like, "Oh man, it's really great work. Like, really out there." Cleaning up the streets, mm-hmm. punishing this terrible crime that's taking place right before our eyes.
You would have said that?
Demoralizing society. I think so. Like, I don't think I really had a conception of what was I was very black and white when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't see much gray when it came to law. Yeah. It's just like, why would you do any of these things? It's illegal. That's very silly.
Well, do you see this as a victimless crime in a way?
Well,
is that what the road you're leading us down?
In a vacuum, when you're talking about like being a bookie or running a poker game, yes.
Yeah.
When you attribute it to a crime family, it's not victimless anymore. You're funding something.
Definitely some victims.
Yeah, there's for sure some victims. Whether they had it coming,
in the East River,
might have made it out to Lake Mead. I don't know. Yeah. I do find it a bit concerning, given our career choices, that these types of things are being cracked down. Now, of course, like in the grand scale of things, obviously bookmaking and running poker games is largely untouched. These are two cases of hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, worldwide, right, that are in action. But that almost makes it feel worse, right? It's like jaywalking. It's like never, ever, ever punished until it just is,
right?
And it's like you're operating on this like unwritten rule that like this actually isn't really a law, and then some asshole wants to get you on a technicality, and like suddenly mm-hmm. you're in court for jaywalking.
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like it feels very. I get it. Like if you decide to run an illegal book or you decide to run an mm-hmm. illegal home game, that you are skirting a law. Right. I suppose. It just feels bad if you're the one that's made an example of.
For sure. Yeah.
But I get it too, like out here with everything that happened, more and more information just continually comes out about that illegal sports betting ring that was a part of the Ohtani scandal, that was a part of the, I can't remember the guy's name from the NBA who got bought off to fake an injury. I keep wanting to say J.A. Morant, and that's not right. But it was the younger brother of an NBA superstar.
Yeah.
You guys probably remember the story.
I remember the story.
And then there was like, then more details came out. They found that they had, I don't remember if it was point shaving or something else, but they had like paid off college teams. And like all of this was taking place right underneath our nose here in Vegas. Like a lot of the people who were involved mm-hmm. were playing in high stakes poker games. They were gambling in casinos. Resorts World had a massive fine levied against them because effectively like a lot of the money was being washed through that casino. They weren't doing their due diligence to like KYC, and so when it all came to a head, they took on a big brunt of the, I guess, if you want to call it like the legal side of things. Like they took big penalties for it, and like all of Vegas kind of cracked down. It used to be pretty freely. Like you could, if somebody came to a poker game and they had like 10K, and we're gonna buy chips, and you would prefer to just have cash, you could just give them chips. But like not anymore. They crack down pretty heavily on that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, they should.
Yeah.
It's like
it's a way to launder money.
It's a very like, I don't think that's like the intent, but obviously like that's the byproduct, right? You want these entities to KYC as much as possible.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think Landon should go to jail for selling me that
the piece
action,
of the
in the survivor pool.
Yeah, I think so too. Actually, he wouldn't last a fucking day.
That felt illegal to me.
And he wouldn't last a day. We got so unlucky.
How long did your sweat last, Jesse?
Till
Actually, pretty long, to be honest. I was probably in
or
there
week before Thanksgiving. Oh my God, man! Do you remember what happened for us to lose?
Yeah, that was
a crazy ending to the Washington
absurd game.
And like
they missed two PATs.
Yeah, by a miracle, we're an extra point away from going into overtime and almost certainly winning this thing. And the guy fucking doinks it. Like what? Now I know what it's like to be a sports bettor. Yeah. Like I've never felt that before in my life. Yeah. I was like, this is insane. Yeah. This guy just stole $1 million from me.
It really is.
I'm gonna hunt this motherfucker down. Where are you? I felt nothing because I was so. I mean, like I think I handle those the same way I handle like running bad or losing streaks in poker. Once they start, I'm just fully immersed in them. So like as we're going into the fourth quarter down 3 scores, I'm just fully immersed in the death of our survivor pool. And then with like 30 seconds left, the entire Bellagio's erupting like, you still got a chance. I'm like, no, we don't. We don't have a fucking chance at anything.
That was a tough one.
Better to be right than rich.
Gonna do it again next year or this year?
No. I say this every year.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, you say that, and then you're going to have FOMO. It's going to be an hour before.
I can't wait to do it again. You kidding me?
Of course.
Whoever reminded... Oh, it's Dolak. Shout out to Dolak. Thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best sweat that never was. Paying to get Andy out of the pool was just a chef's kiss.
Yeah.
He made money, though.
He did. He was the only one.
Yep. Well, Landon made money.
Oh, Landon made some money, yeah. Yep. Thanks, Jesse.
Yep.
I also think Landon should go to jail for not making it to the barbecue the other day.
Also true. Also very true.
A lot of reasons that we could indict young
Wait,
Landon.
that was Thursday, and he's still sick?
Right.
He should probably go to the hospital.
And he got Conrad sick.
I thought he got me sick because the next morning after we did that podcast, I was coughing and my throat felt weird, but I just like made a tea, took some extra vitamin C and felt better.
You fucking ate dirt as a kid, so you actually got
you manned up a
some
little
gut
bit.
bacteria.
I ate a lot of dirt as a kid.
I'm sure you did. A lot of paint chips too.
Me and my friend used to bike ride down the street to where there's these 2 big dirt piles where they were building a house, but it never really got built.
Yeah.
And we would just hide behind the dirt piles and just throw rocks back and forth at each other. That was our favorite game.
Oh, that sounds
just clusters of asbestos. Those weren't even rocks.
Lamana used to play at a place called the Dumps.
Oh, the Dumps is amazing.
we had a place like that with some broken down cars and we played paintball.
Sure. Oh, that's actually a great idea.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But then we would always
very apocalyptic.
I don't know if you remember paintball back in the day, but you'd always run out of air in like 10 seconds.
I've never played paintball. I was poor.
So I
didn't grow up in fucking Martha's Vineyard. You kidding me? Jesus Christ. Paintball. We literally threw sticks at each other.
Did you go skiing too?
Sticks is nice. I like playing sticks, man. We would
get those 99-cent wiffle balls and fill them with rocks and then put electric tape around them so that they were actually the weight of a baseball.
And then you'd whip them at each other?
We would just play catch, man. We would just fucking play catch.
Why don't you just play catch with a baseball?
We couldn't afford a goddamn baseball. That's the point of the story.
You could afford electrical tape and wiffle balls,
huh? That's, you get those at the dollar store. Mm-hmm. Think they have baseballs at the dollar store?
I do think they have baseballs at
when
the
I was a young
store.
kid, I'm kind of ashamed to admit this now, but I really saw nothing wrong with it when I was a kid. I think this was my first experience with like socialism, or at least my brain going there. I would go to Big Lots, and obviously I couldn't afford much.
This is amazing.
And like I had certain needs as a kid, like I needed a baseball glove. I was playing Little League, but I couldn't afford one. So I went to Big Lots, and like they had these cheap gloves that were like $20 or whatever. But they also had like these rubber basketballs that were $5. Now $5 I could afford, Jesse. $20 I could not. So I would just switch to price tags.
Nice.
Take it up. They'd bring it up for $5. I'd pay them and I'd walk out. I felt like that was a reasonable thing to do. I felt like if I could talk to the owner of Big Lots and explain to him my situation, he would understand the 75% discount.
That's right. That's right. See,
As an adult, I don't really feel the same any longer.
This is to give you an insight of how poor Berkey was. He had to go to Big Lots and scam Big Lots. Like Big Lots was not affordable for him.
That is next level. It's like, wow.
Yeah, now that we mention it, I probably would have been better off just heading to the dumps.
Right.
Cutting a little leather off an old shitty couch and just using it.
That's probably an old glove from like the 50s.
Oh,
laying around somewhere.
Those 50s gloves.
Half rotten.
They were durable.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were saying.
I don't know. What was
Can't
I
stop
saying?
that.
We would run out of air in our paintball guns, and somebody would have a little bit left.
It's CO2, Jesse.
So we'd play a game called Hunter, where the last person with a gun would just get to like sort of chase people around and shoot them. That wasn't.
It sounds like tackle the kid with the football. Except, except
exactly.
we called it something a little different, but yeah. I had a segue into this because we were talking about sharing and whatnot. But anyway,
do you have a segue lined up for that one?
No. Pennsylvania's a part of the liquidity pool now.
Let's go.
Or they're going to be very soon.
Let's go.
So it's just weeks away, I guess. The big question was whether or not they were going to make it before the World Series. Very quietly behind the scenes, I was assured absolutely.
You know what this means, right? People in this state are going to get their crack at marrying Chico.
There we go.
My parents will be right in there.
There we go. Can't wait for that.
I kind of hate to see it.
Why?
I did do it with Michigan too. It's good for us, but it's like so marginally better for our games compared to how bad it is for people in Michigan. I feel bad for Michigan. Like they had this great ecosystem going on where if you were good at poker, you were crushing.
Right.
And then they got merged in our pool, and it's like, I don't know, maybe the fish just all got filleted in like the first few weeks or something, but it seems like it made the games marginally better at best.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel that badly. I don't think it's about making the games better because I think you're right. The ratio of like good players to bad players is going to be the same no matter what liquidity pool you talk about. But I think just increasing the pool size as a whole is very good for legalized poker.
I was going to say it's good. It's good for poker in general, in the sense that like we're slowly moving back towards a full nationwide poker.
I think it's also good for those liquidity pools, because the idea is that there's like a dilution that takes place now because Pennsylvania and Michigan, well maybe not Pennsylvania, but like Michigan and Nevada particularly are smaller by comparison to like New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Yeah. So the weakest players will get propped up for a little bit longer. And I'm not saying like they're not going to go broke eventually. Of course they will, but the churn now is a lot more sustainable than if you have a very small, finite number of people.
Yeah, it seems like it was good for Michigan now, but like, what would it look like in 5 years?
Right, right. Like the pool might just be like Delaware, somewhere down the line.
Yeah,
if you just let them stay isolated.
Yeah, if like the top players are just winning all the money, wouldn't it just eventually that money would dry up?
Well, it'll dry up a lot slower than, this is kind of similar to our private game talk actually. It'll dry up a lot slower than if you introduce them to a pool with way more better regs. And
you think? I'm not so sure that's true because I think the ratio is probably the same. Right? Like those pools also have recreationals.
Yeah, but I think, maybe.
You think like the more mature established pools are so much more reg heavy that it kind of has a predatory effect?
I think the Vegas pool is way more reg heavy. I think generally.
I think that's true.
The way I think about it,
don't contribute enough.
Yeah, the way I think about it generally is the hardest live games in the country are probably in Las Vegas. Everyone comes out here because they want to be a poker player. If you go to anywhere like Texas, Florida, whatever, the games are infinitely softer.
That's true.
And sure. I think that carries over to these small online.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Ecosystems.
I think that's true in a very 30,000 foot view, but my opinion's changed quite a bit on this in recent years. Because I think what you're speaking to is like the crazy action game where nobody's really trying. You know, it's like you might be at a table of 9 people and like 7 just aren't really trying, and the 2 that are have to try in a very specific way to that environment. So even they don't get like elite by any stretch, because they're forced to play 6-way pots all the time, and they're forced to do all these like carnival things. I think that
and it's just not their worth their time to study correct fundamentals,
right.
because you're just.
I think that's absolutely fundamentally true, but my counterpoint to that would be that the next stage up, which would be what you would consider Las Vegas to be, where it's like quote unquote tough, it's still remarkably soft, just in a very different kind of way, right? Like,
I'm not saying. Yeah, I mean,
like
Vegas is still way softer than moving to Europe and trying to play online poker,
right? But what I'm getting at is, like, I think win rates for good players are comparable in the two environments. They just come through very, very, very different points in the game tree. So it's, to me, it's just like an adaptation of one another. Like, one environment is like a ton of action, the other environment is like pretty tight, but both offer a fairly large chunk of win rate to good players because of how lazy the overall pool is when they're playing. One is just lazy splashy, the other one's like lazy fundamentally, I guess.
I don't know, but I guess my counterpoint would be we know people who go to Michigan or PA and have a way higher win rate in those places. Yeah,
but it's so tough to like get a very small sample, I think.
Sure, yeah.
Right, like I think that it would even itself out, because I think the things that you need to do, and I'm only speaking anecdotally from personal experience here, but I think the things that you need to do in order to really bolster your win rate in these games where variance is just like through the roof, which the more deep stack multi-way nuts or air kind of play you're involved in, the more variance you're just necessarily going to take on. It's so against good strategy that it really gets you fucked up. And
you're talking about live games, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we could speak more so to online momentarily, but like with live, when you have these games where it's like, whether you're talking about the Squid Game and the action that it drives, or you're talking about like a Texas game where it's 9 ways to a flop and you're just constantly playing bomb pots, yada, 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 whatever the case may be. I think the adjustments that you have to make are so against what theory wants you to actually do that it breaks a lot of people's brains, even if they're the top of the pool. So I guess what I'm saying is I think that like it's kind of a natural leveler where your ceiling gets a lot lower, but your floor gets a lot higher. So in other words, like if you're a thinking person and a thinking player, it's hard not to win in Texas, right? Because so much free money is just available. The low-hanging fruit is just like so obvious. But I think that you get capped out a bit because of how ramped up the variance is as a whole and the adjustments that you have to make. And I see this all the time when people from out of town like come to our Bellagio game, and I see them like tanking for 15 minutes on the river with like the second nuts facing a 3/4 pot bet where they're just certain that the other person isn't bluffing. And then they call because they have to, and the other person just shows like worse value or an actual bluff that they would have never given them credit for. You know what I mean? Like just the multiplayer high variance game, the people who believe that they're really good in those environments also believe that they're extremely clairvoyant. So they think a lot of the money that they're making is in nodes where they're positive they know exactly what their opponent holds. And they're able to fade the coolers that way and to maximize their value that way. And you have to customize literally across the board every single hand, every single decision, right? It's just always like, okay, well, I know he has exactly this. I know his threshold to call is that. So I'm going to choose this size. And when I'm bluffing, I'm going to choose that size instead. And that is absolutely the art to live poker. And there's a lot of money to be made there. But the accuracy at which somebody who truly believes they're clairvoyant, I would personally estimate is so much lower than they believe it to be that it levels itself off, right? Like they might think they're making 80% accurate decisions. I would estimate they're making like 45 or 50. And so like all of that margin of error is win rate just vanishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think a lot of those concepts make sense to me. I also believe that if you were to do a challenge where you played 5-10 half the year in Vegas and 5-10 half the year in Florida or something, I think you'd make a lot more money in Florida. per hour, or at least considerably more. And I don't mean to single Florida out. I'm just using it as an example because poker's
anywhere
like
outside of
booming
Vegas.
there. Yeah,
basically.
when I think of like places outside of Vegas, like the hot spots, I think of like Florida, Texas,
LA,
California.
yeah.
Just because there's a nice sample of games out there. Like if you want to talk about,
there isn't much 510 in Florida, is there?
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
I haven't played.
I think like Joey Saul
years, except for
Joey Saul
tournaments.
would be a good person to ask about this because he's
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
just forever traveling and grinding, and he has pretty much experience in all these pools.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's like it's difficult to thwart off the bias because it's like whether you're winning more or not in Texas, it's more fun to play that game. So
that's
like
certainly true,
right? So it's like even if your win rate is comparable or slightly lower than it would be in Vegas, Vegas feels like such a fucking grind that like you'll convince yourself you're making way more. Like this is something that people are very surprised to hear me say, but I hate squid. Like I think it's very big picture. I prefer it to not be in the majority of my games. And when I tell people that, they're like, I'm shocked. Like you promote squid so much. You've done so well in squid.
Oh, you're saying you hate it for your bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I love playing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I think we would agree that it's great for no limit hold'em cash games.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful. But if I'm being a smart business person and I'm just examining straight bottom line, it hurts my bottom line by maybe like 20%. And it might even be significantly more. The variance is such a leveler, and your ability to win money uncontested goes away so much faster than it is in a normal.
But is it better for the ecosystem as a whole?
Yes, absolutely.
Right, but then to that you have to,
longevity wise.
That,
longevity wise, it might. But I'm just.
You're talking about the here and now.
I'm just making the specific point of it's a game I very much enjoy playing, but I also recognize that my win rate is significantly lower.
Yeah.
Right. The only thing that counters that is like no matter what stakes you're playing, it'll be magnitudes more. So it's like, okay, maybe you're making fewer big blinds, but your hourly is increasing because you're technically playing bigger, that kind of thing. And I think that it's very similar when you're just like on the grind. If you have a splashy Texas game as opposed to like a nitty Vegas game, it's very conceivable your hourly is higher in the Vegas game. But the misery that comes with grinding that hourly out may not be worth the exchange compared to like getting to play in a game where you actually feel like chips are moving around constantly and you're actually seeing the game in a very specific way.
Yeah, I don't know. My understanding is people have generally who have played in Vegas and then elsewhere is that they're considerably more profitable games.
I feel like that's just that's what everybody thinks. Like if you talk to literally anybody.
I just
and I also would say like if you were to play pre-merge Pennsylvania like 2-5 for a bunch of months, and then you played Vegas, WSOP.com 2-5. I think your win rate will be higher in Pennsylvania. Like I would bet
think
pretty
that's
big
true.
on it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I wasn't arguing about the isolation of them currently. I was more so arguing down the line.
Sure.
It's like 4 years from now or whatever. Like the overall liquidity pool will be better served being joined than it would be.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's also just better for poker, right? Like we're seeing good things happen. Like we're seeing progress being made for poker.
Yeah.
I think your Squid Game example is a good thing too, because I mean this used to happen with just introducing an ante to cash games.
Right.
But you'd have one or two people who would always nix the ante. And it's like, yeah, it hurts their bottom line because they want to sit
tight.
there and be super nitty. They don't really know how to not be nitty, and they know the whale will just put in a bunch of money regardless. It's like, yeah, but you're going to lose the whale if he can't play in a game where like peeling the big blind isn't so bad.
Yeah, exactly. You need to spot them some way, especially if you're one of the bigger winners.
Yeah.
I think another good example is LA. LA is like one of the biggest mirages when it comes to the best places to play cash. The action's fucking insane. There's no, I mean, it's rare that you'll sit in a cash game in LA where the action isn't like wild, but most of the games are shallow and the rake is ridiculously high. So at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, they're very volatile games and there's a lot of chips moving around, but your win rate is absolutely crippled by these other mitigating factors of the rake being really high and people having pretty simple strategies because the stacks aren't that deep. And they're also trying to fade rake. So it's like a lot of it is very similar to like Squid, where it's just like, hey, I've been playing for 6 hours and I've been all in 15 times. It's like, okay, well, good luck showing a massive win rate if you just constantly have to be running hot and cold versus your opposition. Even if they're spotting you having the best hand most of the time, like you're not realizing more bottom line than you would be if you could just get them to constantly fold.
Yeah.
Right? Like just getting people to fold and winning whatever pot is abandoned is worth so much more than running your equities as a favorite. And I think people miss that whole aspect of poker. Like we asked this in the academy, we go like, what's the most profitable play in poker? And you get a wide array of answers. And it's very simple. It's stealing the blinds. It's just stealing the blinds. If you could just endlessly steal the blinds, it's your highest win rate available to you, no matter what the case may be. And I think like that's always a light bulb moment where people are like, oh fuck yeah, like winning 1.5 big blinds per hand, that's a lot. That works out to being a lot. That's why people used to fucking grim. Is that what it's called? Grim?
Yeah, I forgot about those days.
Sharp people, man.
Those are some wild.
My mind never worked that way. They would button people, so they would just they would sit heads up. And they would steal the blinds on the button and leave.
Then leave.
Oh, wow.
And then come back and get the button and do it again.
Yeah.
So they're basically just making you play out of the big blind, which is
Right.
a marginal gain, obviously. Like you're losing slightly out of the big blind, they're winning slightly out of the button.
But over
So
time.
I'm just trying to express that it's like the nittiest way to be immoral,
Yes,
or like the smallest margin way to be immoral, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But people did it because it makes money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to be clear, like obviously you have positional edge, which is worth something, but also there's like a 10% delta. Like back then there was no ante. So the big blind is maybe only defending versus open like 82% or 78% or something like that. And buttons opening like maybe 85. So there's like a 10% delta of just like fold equity. So they're winning like 1/10 of a blind and a half just by raising and you folding.
Right.
And that's worth like a fuck ton if you could just do it over and over and over. Like if you do that 100,000 times a year, you just make endless amounts of money,
Yeah.
Do you know why it was called grimming?
Wasn't it like Grimstar or something? Yeah.
It was this guy named Grimstar who played on his screen name on PokerStars was Grimstar, and he was on 2+2, and he was like in the community, and he just didn't understand. I think he just had no concept of like morals or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
He was just like, this is fine.
But like if
Very
you told him
unapologetic.
like you can't do that, he would be like, oh, okay. So like there was a thread where basically some guy came in all pissed. He was like, yeah, we were blind versus blind. And we wrote in chat like, if it folds to us, I'll just cram. This is like 25-50 for like 100 bigs. Like, I'll just cram, you call it out, like we'll flip if it folds to us. And then he jammed and Grimstar folded. and he like comes in the thread, he defends himself. He's like, dude, I had 8 deuce off. Like, what do you want from me? Like, I'm not gonna just like flip with you with 8 deuce off. He's like, well, that's not a flip then.
Right.
And then people are like, yeah, you can't do that. And he was like, okay. And then he let the guy he jammed against the guy with any 2. Like they went to a table and like the guy. So it was like he wasn't even trying to. He just had no concept.
Yeah.
But he used to just sit people and like just button them all day, and so they called it grimming. This guy was a legend, dude.
The early days was a lot of us just like figuring out the mechanics of the game and like how money moves and how win rate is actually transferred, I think. And with that comes a lot of, I've told this story before, but you know why most places started doing the top board gets the extra chip instead of by position, right?
Why?
Allegedly, Sovereign would only run it twice when he was out of position.
It's insane.
So that he would get the extra chip. And like if you do that enough, that's a lot of win rate.
Right.
And you're also blocking it from happening.
It is funny to think like you're
against
like,
you.
how much could that really matter? But then you extrapolate it out over a year, and you're like,
It's like a half a big blind every time you chop the pot out of position.
yeah,
You do that over a year, maybe 1,000 times.
yeah,
It's like 500 big blinds.
Right.
It's like, oh, I just made 5 buy-ins
right,
by running it
By
twice
just
out of
doing
position
that.
and once in position.
right.
Just fucking wild.
Sovrel's so funny that even like the scammy stories are hilarious to me. Like that's really funny that he would do that. That's like similar to when Solansky, they made the rule that you have to post if you don't come in on the big blind, because Skolansky would just go around to different games and play from the cutoff to under the gun and then
Really?
like leave the table and go to a different game.
That's wild.
I mean, it makes sense. He's just like, I could just play the nuts and never pay a blind.
Well, like you don't have to do that now. Now you don't have to post still.
No, you post.
In private games, they'll let you
private
do
games. Private games do it off, but it's like that's because we know everybody and they're not abusing it.
No, I'm saying like if I went and played right now,
Yeah.
in a public game, I just wait and come in behind the button and not post.
Where?
Red Rock or South Point, they definitely do it. I
Really?
don't. Maybe on
Really?
the Strip it's different. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think everywhere on the strip you
I
have
think
to
like
post.
at the lower stakes.
No, I'm pretty sure at the Wynn or Bellagio you have to post.
Yeah.
It's people wait for the button to pass to post. So that they're posting in the cutoff instead of posting like under the gun.
Like you're talking about when you first sit down.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That's wild.
Yeah, you don't have to. At least in the smaller stakes. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know like Bellagio and stuff you have to post.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I don't know.
There's
I
definitely
haven't played at Bellagio.
There's
for a
definitely
while,
somebody out there. Well, the thing is, if he's talking about like small rooms like South Point or Red Rock, it's not like you can take advantage of it because there's no other game to go to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just roam around the room and like choose from 7 to 5 games and just keep doing this.
And also, if you start doing that,
Yeah, it'll be known.
they'll know you. Yeah, because there's only a few tables.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Before we move too far off of this crime family, I wanted to give kind of a funny update. So you guys might remember we covered this when it first happened back in February. Jay Wynn out of, I think, Austin. No, not Austin. Maybe San Antonio, I think. Talked about a very small room that he played in Killen, Texas for like 4 years. Said it's a small population of players, family atmosphere. Regardless of location, the game was protected from outsiders, yada, 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 that type of stuff. And, you know, it's a very long thread, but eventually he basically goes in to say that the co-owner of the club was cheating. And I think that they were doing it through like marked decks or something along those lines. If you want to read the story, you can find the thread on his page. It's actually the quote tweet of the one that we're about to show you. And the one that we're about to show you is apparently the club owner of that place who got picked up by ICE and deported.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man. Very unlucky. So he just tweeted, well, look who got snatched up, some karma for you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, no good deed goes unpunished, or whatever the inverse of that is.
The opposite of that, yeah.
Yeah, no crime goes without some sort of
So
punishment.
he's getting punished not for cheating, but for overstaying his visa? Is that what's going on?
or not even having one, I guess. But in one way, shape, or form, he's getting the boot.
He gone.
They're sending him out. Now, he's taking all of his winnings with him, I'm sure, but yeah.
Maybe not.
If you want the full backstory, just click into that thread, or go back to, I guess, February 21st. We did a show on it. You guys can see the coverage there. And I guess last thing along those lines, Guapo reminded me of this. There was a thread that came out. I can't remember if it was Fox News thread or if it was just actually from like an official White House account, which, by the way, hilarious tweet.
It was from an official briefing. Yeah, like I remember she was talking about it.
Hilarious fucking tweet that the official White House account put out last week, where they said, just comply and you won't be punished, or something like that.
Whoever's the intern running the White House Twitter is just out of control.
The most
right now.
based human on the planet. It might be Trump. It actually just might be Trump tweeting from the White House thread. Anyway, what was being announced was I think that they were discussing that in the near future, they're going to reduce the visitor's visa to 30 days instead of 6 months. So this will have a lot of impact on the World Series specifically. So yeah, it says all foreign nationals present in the United States longer than 30 days must register with the federal government. Failure to comply with this is a crime punishable by fines, imprisonment, or both. Now, I don't know what registering means, and I don't know what that process is going to be like. But if it's a in-person process, that's for sure going to weed out a lot of foreigners for the WSOP. If it's an online application, depending on how speedy they get responses, whatever. But I know that this is definitely going to be an issue because previously it was 6 months. You could just come in and, you know, they would basically just like check your passport and make sure that you weren't overstaying kind of thing. It was very loose. But, you know, most people that I know abide by it, and they're very methodical about tracking their own days. You know, like a lot of my friends from Canada will be like, okay, I've been here for, 100 days so far this year. I have X amount of days left. I'm reserving them for the World Series, yada, yada, yada. But now it seems like that might not matter. If you've already spent 100 days here, they might just like hold it against you, or whatever the case may be. But in any event, the World Series is almost 50 days long. So for everybody out of the country who wants to come and spend the entire summer here, it looks like they're going to have to jump through some hoops. And we're either going to see the softest World Series of all time or the smallest World Series of all time. Yeah. And it might actually be both.
Maybe, I was going to say it might be both.
Or we might get more hands per hour than any other World Series since the 90s.
That could be very true. There's a lot of predictions that this is going to be the smallest series we've seen since the one post-COVID. It might be smaller than that.
What percentage of the field do you think are Euros? I'm interested. I have no
20?
idea. Yeah.
But it's not even just about that. It's also about the economy really plummeting at a bad time. Creeping into the summer with Bitcoin on the decline, with the market on the decline, with tariffs on the rise, and now all of our foreign counterparts not really being welcome. There's a lot of things aligning to say, like, you know what, maybe all those people who saved up for a 10-day vacation in Vegas this summer aren't going to be taking it.
Yeah.
The pros will still show up, of course. Mm-hmm. But
in 2019, approximately 20% of the field were non-Americans.
What was that, the main?
Yeah.
Pretty good, Berk.
Well done.
Well, you said Euros, but
80-20 rule.
Let's be pedantic here.
And how many Euros made the final table? I think it was like 4 or 5. Yeah, so
literally all of them.
No, we had the winner and second place.
Wait, in 19? That wasn't Espen's year?
Oh no, he said 2019. I'm sorry, I was talking about last year.
Yeah. Oh no, 19 wasn't Espen's year.
Yeah, Espen was
22.
Yeah. 19 was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. So
was that the year Livingston took third?
Korai was 21. 19 would have been the Livingston Marchi final table, which was Husan.
Yeah.
Who did he beat heads up?
The Italian kid who's awesome.
I can barely remember who won.
Dario. Yeah, Dario. Yep.
Dario.
There's Marchi.
Dario's great.
Look at Marchi.
I played with Dario on
day 10. You're calling 26. Whatever the fuck he said.
I played with Dario on day 3 or 4 of that main event, and very few times in my life have I watched somebody play and just been like, that guy's making the final table. And I felt so strongly about it when I watched him. He just looks like a man on a mission.
Yeah.
Like, he's very good at poker, but he was so dialed in, and like, he just looks like every time you're in a pot with him, he just had this look on his face like, bro, no one's getting in my way of making this final. It was crazy.
That is pretty wild. We had a lot to discuss with the Venetian live stream yesterday, ladies event. We're going to hold off until tomorrow. I want to give it its proper time, because our fam, Miss Joanne
Mama Jo.
Aliande. I've never called her by her last name.
Just Mama Jo.
Mama Jo cooked for sure. She was in the kitchen cooking. So we'll wait for tomorrow for that. I want to get out of here on perhaps a little challenge to the group.
Oh boy.
Throwing it out there. I don't know. Okay. We'll see. Seth Davies tweeted last week. He said, I came across this casual fitness guy's decathlon for guys over 30. Think I'm going to give it a try and get them all in the same week. It would be a fun challenge. Who's with me? And it's so by decathlon, you're not actually doing the traditional decathlon.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to pole vault in this room.
Right. We're doing 10 things in the gym effectively. It's tough, honestly. Like this is not for the faint of heart, but I think it's an interesting one. So, number 1, measure your resting heart rate under 50 BPM, which is, you got to be in pretty good shape. The only problem with this is
under 50. That's a
well. You would take it when you're sleeping.
Yeah, I drop into the mid 40s when I sleep.
Okay.
And I actually just put this up as a flex in my IG last week. I said, this is the biggest flex of my recent cut. I got my BPM down to 53, my resting heart rate. But anyway, the problem with this is that, like, either you do that immediately or you don't. Like, there's nothing that you Brian can do in the next like 24 hours
to change
to reduce your heart rate
course.
at such a degree
Of
that
course.
if your resting heart rate 66,
Yeah.
like there's nothing you can do in the next 24 hours to get it to 49.
Right.
That just takes like time and dedication to working out, getting up your VO2 max and all these other things. But that's number one. Do you have this tweet or no?
Mm-mm.
Here, I'll send it to you. I sent it like
Guess what Lance Armstrong's resting heart rate was?
like 48.
32.
What?
32? He's dead.
It beats once every 2 seconds. It's insane. It's like bum 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 bum. How can you? That is insane.
32.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
At some point, you just get inefficient, right?
The last time I got mine checked, it was 4. So
Well
I told
done.
the doctor I keep things very steady.
Right.
You're like a Hey, what is it? I want to say like a blue whale. There's like some sort of animal in the sea.
Jellyfish.
That's just permanently asleep.
Yeah, no, I think it might be like a crocodile or something.
You can get your resting heart rate under 50. Put you on a little sedative.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, there's ways.
There's ways to do all of these without putting in that much extra effort.
Give me a little.
Is that why you can only be under anesthesia for so long because your heart rate lowers?
I would
enough
assume
in
so,
stages?
Yeah, I mean, they have to. That's why you have the anesthesiologist to monitor all that.
I would
Yeah,
love to know what
that
Lance
makes sense.
Armstrong's blood pressure is. Like, to be at 35 BPM.
32.
Sorry, 32 BPM. What the fuck is his heart rate when he sleeps? I wonder if they took like a sleep.
Maybe that's what it was.
Because
I'm
like
sure that was
I'm like
up-
42 when I'm sleeping,
Right.
but that's not really your resting heart rate.
I don't think that was that his resting, or is that like the lowest it was? Because
I could look for it again.
I doubt it was with his resting heart rate.
Right. Like when I think resting, it's like what's the lowest that your heart rate is while awake?
Right.
Because there's obviously a huge difference between your sleeping heart rate and you know what I would consider to be resting. Man, I mean that's just like fucking sick. At some point, you have to be too low, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there has to be a floor to this thing.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, getting back to the challenge. So resting heart rate under 50, I think I can get that one, especially if I cheat and take my sleeping heart rate.
The sub 5 minute
Sub
mile.
5 minute
that's
mile.
fucking tough,
So
man.
I replied to him and I said, any of the distance runs, I think I would need to train for. I've ran a sub 5 minute mile before, but it was in college.
Yeah.
That's not
That
easy.
means you're doing one lap, 80 seconds. Every
And
single
college
lap,
was a
80
long time ago, Berk.
College was a long time ago. It was a long time. But I think like just like cold, I could run like a sub 6 minute mile.
Okay.
Or pretty close. Like I might be like somewhere. I think I would be somewhere between like 550 and 620 if I just like ran it cold right now. And I might surprise myself. I might be like in the 530s, but I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Point is like I think I could train myself to sub 5, but like that would be a down the line goal.
Dude,
Right.
That would be so hard.
As with the next one, which is a sub 20 5K. So 5K is like roughly 3.3 miles, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So same kind of thing. Like you're running, I think, like a 6:15 pace or something along those
For
lines.
3.3 miles.
For 3.5 miles, roughly. Last time I ran a 5K was in Leechburg.
Oh yeah,
For
I was
Pink
there,
Day.
I was there with you.
Yeah, I got second.
Second? Did you?
I'm mad I got second.
Yeah. I think I got 20 seconds.
I should have got fucking first. Who beat me?
Didn't I go the wrong way? I
some
think I
high
got
school kid.
lost.
You get to the finish line, one guy beat you, and it's just Garrett.
No. He would smoke. He's running marathons now, of course.
Just
Like,
Adelstein shirtless with his
Right,
9-pack.
course. Yeah, of course. So I would definitely have to train for this one as well. The next one is interesting to me because I want to know if I can just do it now. I think, like in my heart of hearts, I think I can, but I'm not positive. It's 2.5 times your body weight on the trap bar.
Remind me what the trap bar is
So
again?
trap bar is like a hex bar.
You stand inside of it, right?
You stand inside of it and you do a deadlift.
Okay.
So 2.5 times my body weight right now would be like 500 pounds.
Oh.
I think I could pull that. I think I could pull that once. I for sure have done 425 recently for reps. When I say recently, I mean within like the last 2 years. The only concern I have is that I have this like nagging, I don't want to call it an injury because that's not fair, but like I've just had this nagging flare up in my glute where for whatever reason, when I deadlift heavy, my glute flares. And when my glute flares, the pain actually presents in my lower back. So I'll like walk around like this
Yeah.
for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I remember.
But I got to tell you,
Yeah.
to hit this number would be worth it. So I'm going to try that one. 10 strict pull-ups. I could do that with my eyes closed. Sub 5-second 40-yard dash. I hope I could do that. Right, like to run
Subway. What was it?
sub 5. 5 is fucking slow, man.
Man, that's not.
man.
5 is slow.
It's not.
All right.
It's slow when you're a professional athlete. It's not slow for just a person.
Oh man.
If you can run like a 4.5 40, like you're pretty
There's no-
fucking quick. Like
Well, 4.5,
you can spot half a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, half a second's a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay.
I'm telling you, sub 5 is fast for a 40-year-old.
Yeah,
man.
fair. Look, it's not a lay. I said it with
You were
know,
never a fast man.
No, but like I've run sub 760. Like I'm not gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, that might have been downhill.
Right. You might have ran.
Pittsburgh's a lot of hills,
Right.
you know?
Like at your top speed when you were, in college, you might have ran like a 4.9 or 4.8.
No. Come on. I for sure like consistently ran a 7.160.
I don't know what that equates to.
Probably like a 4.7.
Okay.
4.8, 40.
Yeah.
Like
Now you want
a fast 60.
So like at your top speed, you were in your best when you were, a collegiate athlete.
Okay, but I don't know them converting. Like a fast
Right.
60 time is sub 7.
Yeah.
And a fast 40 time is like sub 4.5.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like,
I think this is one of the ones where it's like, could be like no matter how hard you train, you can't get.
right. You can either do, well, I don't know. I mean, it depends. if you're running like a 5.2,
Depends how close you are.
yeah, if you're running like a 5.2, I'm sure you can train.
Yeah.
So that one I'm very unsure of. 24-inch standing vertical jump, I'm pretty confident I could do that one. 8-foot broad jump, I've never broad jumped in my life. I have
That's
no
where
concept.
you like,
I know what it is. I just have like no concept
swing
of
your
like
arms forward and you jump.
right, but like
Yeah.
like I have no concept of what 8 feet. Like how ridiculous is
Well,
is it?
I would have to say it's
probably
hard. This list,
Right, it's probably hard.
fucking hard.
Right.
It's funny. The only 3 on this list that I think I can do right now,
Yeah.
maybe, are those 6, 7, and 8.
6, 7, and 8. So you think, bro? Bet.
I said I think.
Think you could. I'm trying to think of the
I'll
ones I
spot
could do
'em.
right now. I could do the pull-ups.
I'll spot you 10% on all 3 of them.
Spot me 10% on all 3.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear 'em.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, can we
Oh, no,
hear?
I
Can we
can't-
hear these or what?
I guess I can't spot you 10% on 5 seconds. It can't be a 5.5. Wait, would that even be 10%?
What's 7, 8, 9?
7, 8, 9 is. Oh, sorry. I thought you said 6, 7, 8.
Or what did you
no,
say?
I did say 6, 7, 8. So the
Yeah.
sub 5-second 40, the 24-inch standing vertical, and the 8-foot broad.
You can't do any of this.
That's what I'm saying. I'll spot him 10% on all
You don't
3.
think I can do the 8-foot broad jump?
Oh, well, you are like an Olympic.
No.
Oh, he's an Olympic broad jumper now.
Don't kill my action.
That one you maybe. The sub. There's no fucking way you're running a sub 540.
Look,
Just
I used
like
to. I used to.
zero.
I mean, it's a long time since high school.
And then
but
vertical,
I used
I
to
have no
long jump
idea.
almost 24 feet in high school.
24-inch vertical jump is. I said that very quickly that I think I could do it, and it's because in my head I was doing a box jump.
Yeah.
Doing a straight vertical, like
Yeah,
where you have to.
You don't get to like.
You
You, have
sta-
to, you
you
can
just-
take one step and then jump, right?
I mean,
like
standing
when you're trying to
vertical
hit
is
the
you-
sticks.
standing
No.
vertical. You don't take a step.
Yeah.
Oh, you just.
I would be lucky to get 1 foot, let alone 2.
You could get 12 inches.
Hopefully.
You get 12
I
inches.
don't know.
24 is gonna be tough.
Tortoise is very low to the ground.
Let me
It's
think.
hard for us to get up.
Yeah, I feel like if I had a 24-inch vertical, I could probably grab the rim.
That's what I
And
was
I
thinking. I
definitely
was
could
thinking if
not-
you can touch the rim, that I should be good.
I definitely
if I'm
could
5'11",
not touch the rim right now. I don't think. I'm gonna have to train for all of these.
Literally the only one on that thing that I'm confident I could do right now is the pull-ups.
I don't think you
Yeah.
can do 10 strict pull-ups. I don't
Yes,
think
you
you can
can.
do
Yes,
that.
I can.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Is there no things on here involving number of bong rips taken?
No, sorry. This is the new Summer Olympics for the World Series, Olympics.
Bro, this is just Jason Kuhn showing up.
Yeah.
That's the only person who will be
no,
doing
Seth
any of
Davies
this
is
stuff.
going to be there, obviously.
Is Seth very athletic? I
I
mean,
mean, he played college
I
baseball.
could see him. Oh,
They're-
well,
They're like very good friends.
yeah,
They
but
train together.
baseball.
Fuck you.
To be clear,
he plays a lot of
10
tennis now.
10 pull-ups strict means you get to see elbows get locked out. and
Bro,
then you
this
come
is
right
not
back
that
up.
hard.
Okay.
This is not.
Well, you understand what I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know
I just want to make sure.
I'll
that
do it
we're all
right
on
now
the same
from the
page.
rafters.
No, listen.
Somebody in the chat pointed
Berkey
out
says
that
it's
Tom
not that
Brady ran at 5.2 40-yard.
Well, yeah, he's a fucking lineman.
He's more athletic than any of us will ever
And he
be.
ran what?
5.2.
No, he's a better.
No, I'm sorry. I misread that.
He's a better quarterback than any of us.
46 years old. He ran a 5.2.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And he's the slowest man in the NFL.
Burke, going back to the pull-ups,
Yeah.
pull-ups are very, very hard.
Not when you train them.
Not when you train them. Like for anybody who doesn't do pull-ups, some people couldn't do one.
Oh yeah, Guapo's
Right.
drawing dead.
Yeah,
Right,
I could
right,
probably
right.
do 2 right now.
Right.
Yeah,
But if you do them
Oh
consistently,
man, that reminds me
then
of
you
a
can
funny
do it.
JRB story. I should have brought it up when he was here. We back in the Ivy Room day. I can't remember. I think I don't know who made the bet with him. It might have been. I think it was one of the LA Recs, but they had like a $50K bet that he couldn't do a single pull up. And this
I would take that.
well,
I don't think he can.
no, he had like a month to train.
Oh,
it wasn't like fucking cold, right?
Okay. If
so
you
of
can't
course,
train yourself up to do one pull-up in a month,
the way he trained was fucking eating Jean Robert or John George's every single night, drinking fucking wine, and then finally at the 11th hour, they go to the Aria gym, and he's hanging from the goddamn pull-up bar, just screaming, ah! His belly's like hanging out, you know, just ah! Doesn't get an inch off the ground.
did he not even attempt one?
Never
Like,
even attempted
he
one.
just was like, I could do that. Who can't just pull themselves up
That's
until you actually try to do it?
from a
just
dead
absolutely-
hang, yeah. It's,
just absolutely torched it. So the last two, the 3-minute plank and side plank are for sure doable. Like, if you can't do anything else on this list, that would be the first thing that you could train yourself into, are the planks. Like, planks get very, very, very easy once you're able to. Once you're able to do a minute, like, from that point, you can do a lot. It's like
what are the
cold plunge,
the planks are just
on your forearms.
for a minute?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
how-
3 minutes for this one.
But
I'm saying, like, once you're able to surpass a minute, if you can do one, you can do 5.
Planks are the most like mental battle of anything.
I think I could do a 3-minute plank right now.
I trust you.
Yeah.
Tony's got you trained up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that's why I say that, because in P90X world, like, you're doing planks, you're doing pull-ups, you're doing like those kind of things.
Yeah.
You a big P90Xer?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Him and Tony, they're like this, man.
P90X3,
Let's
you
go.
know, it's a little bit more
Ain't nobody
current.
doing
It's only 10
P90X.
years old, not 20.
Ain't nobody doing P90X3 completing anything on this list.
You'd be surprised, man.
I wanted to see you guys do the trap bars.
You definitely do. Anybody that can complete P90X3 can do the 10 pull-ups. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's
They can
true.
do the plank.
I think for the trap bar
A lot of them
deadlift,
probably could do the miles too.
I think for the trap bar deadlift, instead of me trying to pull 500 pounds now, I'm going to lose 20 pounds
Yeah.
and then try to pull like 450 pounds instead.
Yeah. The super heavy lifting
that seems
stuff.
way better.
If you're P90X, you're not going to do that. It's not heavy lifting.
Okay, yeah. So look, we only got to add 4 inches here.
What does that say?
The average standing vertical jump is 16 to 20 inches.
You make that sound so easy. Some of us have been trying to do that all of our lives. All right, buddy.
We'll get you a booster seat. We'll get you those. Did you ever see those cushion or insoles? They're always sold on Instagram. I think they start with a V.
Oh my
where
God,
they like
yeah.
spring up. Yeah, we'll get you a set of those.
Nice.
We'll all be flying high.
Speaking of booster seat,
We're all gonna be 6'9".
when Jesse was here the other day and he took your seat, he loved your.
oh, of course.
Your little
The
bicycle.
human
What
tool.
is that
It's
thing?
called the human tool.
The human tool.
And isn't it funny how human tool actually sits
Can you
on
show
it?
that off to the camera? It's really incredible technology what
it's
you're working with
incredible.
over
I
there.
gave it. I remember I gave it to Kelly Minkin like 6 or 7 years ago to sit on because you physically couldn't see her at the table.
You're like, here
she
you go.
was chin level with the
Yeah.
rail. I was like, you need one of these. It looks like a bicycle seat.
Yep.
I've had this thing for like 10 years. It's
It feels
incredible.
like a wider bicycle seat as well.
It's ergonomic, if you will. It comes with its own base that you're supposed to set them on the chair, and that way like you have more maneuverability, and you just like naturally.
You just stick that thing right.
Well, I
in.
lost the base a long
of course,
fucking time
yeah.
ago. I mean, it's not attached to it. You're asking a lot out of me.
Yeah.
The fact that I was able to keep the cushion alone
I know.
speaks volumes. But yeah, I've been sitting on this thing for many moons. Many moons.
You take that when you play?
When I play the World Series, anywhere there's shitty chairs.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And I should start taking them to live streams because the rails are so high that even myself, who has a pretty long torso, feels like I'm kind of, I feel like I'm a little sunken in. Like I got to reach.
Yeah.
I want my elbows on the rails, man. You know how
So
it is.
after you chewed JRB out yesterday and he said Berkey must have something up his ass. Little did he know you got the human tool.
That's right. I was so fucking hot, man. God damn it.
Yeah, sorry to bring those vibes back. I really didn't mean to.
Ling texts me. She goes, "Oh my God, I just heard I was going to come. I'm so mad for you."
So are you going to attempt this thing or what?
I really do want to try it. So the last one is complete a marathon or a half Ironman. That might be like the one thing on this list that like I don't even know that I could try.
Wait, that's just one of the things?
Yeah.
That's absurd.
How far is a marathon?
26 miles.
You have to do it all in one day. No.
Yeah, it's a marathon.
No, I'm talking about the whole list of.
Oh, right. I mean,
most of these things don't take
a lot, right? Yeah, you just
anybody that could do the other 9 things on this list could train for a marathon within 4 to 6 weeks, maybe less.
The marathon's more achievable than a lot of these.
Depends on where you're starting at, Berg.
Because you can walk a marathon.
If you can't run a mile.
I'm saying anybody who could do the other 9 things on this list, you can't walk a mile. You can't do anything on this list. There's nothing on this list that a person who cannot walk a mile could do. So if you think that you're doing 6, 7, and 8, not being able to walk a mile, you're dead. I'll bet you anything you want. But yeah, to get to the sub 5-minute mile, to get to the sub 20-minute 5K, you're already going to be like
in really
maybe
shape,
half the way to training for a marathon, if not further. And now it just becomes a matter of like building up some endurance, you know, lengthening those runs here and there. I've never run a marathon in my life, but like we used to run so fucking much in college. I would run like on average 50 miles a week.
How old is Seth Davies?
I want to say he's Jason's age, 37, maybe 38, somewhere in that neighborhood. Jason might be pushing 40 at this point though. I keep thinking I'm 40 and then it's like, oh no, wait, like, 3 years have disappeared.
Right.
So these guys all got 3 years older too. Like when people were like, yeah, Golf Fund turns 40 next year. It's like, wait, really? What the fuck happened? He was in his
I thought he was younger than me. Oh wait.
He was in his mid-30s just yesterday. What happened? All right. I don't know. I want to give this a try. Anybody else?
I would like to attempt the easy ones.
The thing is that I know I'm drawing dead on.
What if we put a deadline to this? Like
I don't think
October 1st.
I don't think there is. That's Chico's birthday.
There we go.
I don't think that. I don't think there's you could give me like 3 years and there's some of these things.
Okay, what if we do this? What if we all bet a small amount of money?
Like I'm not jumping 2 feet. It's not going to happen.
Okay, I understand. I think you'd be surprised. I think you'd be very surprised. But what if we all put a small amount of money down, right? And we gave ourselves 6 months. So today's April 14th. So May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, so October 1st. Right, we put a deadline of October 1st. Say we all put in $500, and the goal is to be able to do 70% of this list by October 1st. And if you do it, you get your money back. If you do the entire list, or let me say, whoever does the most beyond 70% scoops whatever money is remaining in the pool. So some people won't.
Why would I ever agree to that? Bring here, Berk. Why don't I just give you my wallet and you give me back what you think I deserve?
So then
it's a $500 investment to train for the rest of your life.
Let's imagine a world.
You think that you won't outwork me between now and then?
Yes, that's exactly what I think.
Let's imagine a world where somebody completes all 10.
Yeah, they scoop.
So then it just comes down to like best times.
Well, if multiple people complete all 10.
Yeah.
But if one person completes all 10, obviously there's going to be someone from the group, like Landon, that doesn't complete the 70%. So their 500 is up for grabs, right? So you free roll it if you do 7 out of 10. And then if you do more, you're in line to scoop the pool of everybody that didn't make it.
But if everybody does 7 out of 10, then you win nothing no matter what.
Oh, you win the pride. You win the pride and,
a lot of hard
the
work
bragging rights, you know.
Bragging rights what? Everyone did the exact same thing.
No, you did all 10.
Yeah, I'm not doing all 10. There's no fucking way.
Not with that fucking attitude. Obviously. Jesse,
there's some things in there that I'm not physically capable.
That's not true. That's not true.
I'm not running a sub 5 40.
You
At
could do
my
it.
age.
The vertical thing is like you either
Listen,
have it or you don't.
Brian,
Like,
Listen,
Brian,
that's not
bring
really
me back
something
on the
you can-
HGH. Maybe we'll talk.
Start it. What are you waiting for? I've been preaching this for a decade.
You can't just start it.
Why not?
How do you just start it?
You go to a doctor and you get HGH.
You don't. They won't just give it to you.
Oh, I got a contact for you.
Yeah, you have a
I know a guy.
concierge doctor that costs more money than I probably.
He's like $200 a year.
Will this guy do TRT
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
Wow, I like this.
Anything you need.
$200 a year, I could get a concierge doctor.
I don't know what he actually costs.
Yeah, it's probably like 20,000. No.
No, he just puts it into the cost of my prescriptions.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. He just charges an extra 20%. I don't know. I don't ask questions,
Right.
man. It keeps me
Yeah.
fucking tip-top shape.
Bro, you're going to go to this guy, Curtis, and in a year, you're going to be doing 60-inch jumps.
That's what I'm saying,
He's gonna
bro.
jump
This
out of the
is
stadium.
Look,
I'll jump over the basketball hoop.
this thread was the opportunity for all of you to get in the best goddamn shape of your life, and you're sitting here turning it down.
Listen, there's
Yeah, this
other
goes
ways.
against my strict no cardio policy,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I also have not been doing cardio for a long time, but I'm back in.
All right.
I'm back in. Tune in 6 months from now.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll give it a go.
Yeah, all right. That's going to do it for us today. If you guys want to get in on this challenge, maybe we'll start it. Maybe we'll consider a little something. I'll put a tweet out. Just feel free to answer. All right, that's going to do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow, noon Pacific. As always, we'll see you guys then.
Peace.
Peace.